My peoples! Good morning and happy Thursday. It is Papaziti here. I'm a little hungover from yesterday's celebrations. It was my wife and I's 3-year anniversary, if you didn't know. Anyway, I'm going to power through this. Now that the dust has kind of settled a little bit on the big Xbox One reveal, I thought I'd bring up a couple points that really kind of stood out to me. First and foremost, this one, and I would say that this is going to kind of affect the PlayStation. So I've got one point that stood out to me that's going to have kind of a direct correlation with the PlayStation 4. And then the second point that stood out to me is going to have a direct correlation with the Call of Duty franchise, of which you are watching right now. Yeah, a little game on studio here. Talk about the game just real quick. This is like a typical game, and oh my goodness, look out, ZD, no! That was just bad. This is a typical hard-fought game. This is not some big giant beatdown, and that's all I'm going to say. I hope you enjoy it. It was fun. Yeah, I think it's exciting. Anyway, let's start first off with the first thing that I thought was kind of interesting and how it relates to PlayStation 4 and the PlayStation 4 reveal, which is coming out here shortly. It's about used games on the Xbox One. Now, there's been some confusion, it seems. There's been official Twitter accounts of Xbox that have said one thing, that no, there won't be any charge to play used games, and then there's a conflicting reports, basically, on how this is all going to shake out and how it's going to work. One thing that they are saying, though, is that any game that you got on the 360 is not going to transfer over, so there will be no backwards compatibility. They've said that. I've read that in a couple different articles. I'm going to link some articles that I'm referencing, by the way, in the description, so don't forget to read the description. But more importantly, it's about, are you going to be able to play used games in the used gaming market on the Xbox One? I haven't gotten any clear answer, and I guess more will be revealed as time marches on, but it seems like now they are shading to, you are going to have to pay extra to play used games. Ooh, that was nifty right there, ZD. So, how does this affect the PlayStation 4? Well, in about a month, the PlayStation 4 reveal is going to come out, and there are some industry insiders that feel like Sony may take advantage of this kind of announcement that the Xbox One will not, or will charge a fee for playing used games. And in turn, Sony may come out and say that they are going to not charge a fee for used games in the hopes of maybe trying to get some of that Xbox One user fan base to switch over to the PlayStation 4. And so as an Xbox fan, you should be rooting for Sony right now. I know that's so hard. You're like, never would I root for Sony. Well, you should be rooting for Sony because depending on what they say in a month, Microsoft and Xbox One may kind of change their tune a little bit. So you should be kind of rooting for Sony here coming up, and just to see what the PlayStation 4 announcement brings. It may affect how Microsoft runs Xbox One going forward. Okay, so that's the first thing. The second thing that I found, and I have to thank Pico210 for this little heads up, was an article in Wired magazine talking about Microsoft's Azure cloud computing platform. And in this article, I'm going to read just this one in particular, this one paragraph, and I'm going to quote real quick. Okay, quote, perhaps the most intriguing, however, is that Xbox One gives game developers the ability to access Microsoft Azure cloud computing platform that leads to a few obvious and immediate applications. All your downloaded and installed games and achievements are synced to the cloud and can be accessed and played without interruption on any Xbox. You sign into stable, dedicated servers for every multiplayer game. I'll read that again. Dedicated servers for every multiplayer game rather than notoriously fragile practice of hosting matches on one participant's console. Even multiplayer matches that can grow up to 64, even to 128 participants rather than the usual limit of 16 or 32. Okay, that's a pretty bold and sweeping statement right there, and it gave me pause to think about just Call of Duty and Activision's penchant for porting games. So they make it for the Xbox and then they port it to the PlayStation, and that's been kind of their business model. It's also Activision's business model not to spend any more money than they have to when making a game. So that leads me to believe and question, well, how exactly is your cloud thing gonna work? Is it space that's rented out by Activision that's made available to everybody who buys a Call of Duty, next Call of Duty on the Xbox? And if that's the case, then are they gonna have to make a completely separate net coding for the PlayStation 4? Because it would seem like you couldn't just port that game straight over. And if, either one of those, it sounds like it's going to cost Activision money. So that leads me to believe that if there's an opt-out option for this Azure Cloud, platform or whatever, then I think Activision will probably opt out of that and stick with its peer-to-peer matchmaking. Again, I could be dead wrong on this, but it just, history tends to repeat itself, and Activision is typically more concerned about its bottom line than its gamers, I think. And, we'll have to see what happens, but just kind of looking at those two things, I don't know. I don't know how Activision's going to pull it off without spending any more money than they're used to spending. So we'll see, guys. Let me know what you think of all this action in the last couple days with the Xbox One and the Call of Duty Ghosts, reveal. I'm doing air quotes right now, reveal. And Ziti for the win, yes. Anyway, let me know in the comment section what you think. This is papaziti saying have a great Thursday, and I will see you guys next time. Peace.